I usually prefer to start off with none, so there's actual challenge, but if you're just new to this, I wouldn't feel too guilty if you decide to start with the candle, because it can be a little overwhelming to just jump into random caves in the dark with low stats. But I'm good enough that I don't really need the candle. No shame in actually having it on, though, just saying. And you can start with any spells or no spells, or you could just shuffle the starting spells. And much like if you shuffled the items for each spell, you'd have a 25% chance of starting with it, but this is not my personal preference to run these. Starting heart containers and maximum heart containers should be self-explanatory. Starting techniques. These are essentially the sword techniques you'll start with. You can pick to start with the down stab, the up stab, both of them. Usually we default to none. Or you could have it be randomized too. Yeah, because pretty much nearly anything that can get randomized could get randomized if you really wish to do so. And then there's the hints that you can turn on. If you set it to normal, then pretty much no in-game dialogue is changed. If you set it to spell item, then the people in the towns who actually require a certain item to be found before they let you in their house to talk to the wizard who will teach you a spell, they'll actually tell you like where the item is. Helpful hints, random townspeople will just tell you like where a certain item is. And I have both those hint types turned on. There's this also selected. Quickly gonna go over the overworld stuff. Palaces, there are 6 of them, and they can swap continents. So normally, if this would not be checked, palaces 1, 2, and 3 would always be in the west half of the game, and palaces 4, 5, and 6 and the Great Palace would be on the east half. But these can get shuffled around. And Great Palace is also included in the shuffle, so it's not necessarily going to be in Death Valley. Which, there's still going to be a Death Valley you can easily identify. Overworld encounters are not shuffled. Hidden Palace is set to on, so one of the palaces in the east will be hidden under something called Three-Eyed Rock. And to make it actually appear so you can enter it, you'll need the flute, so flute is absolutely required. Kasuto is one of the towns, and I've set it to be hidden behind a forest tile. Not that hard to identify which one, but you do need the hammer to actually enter it. And more often than not, there's usually very useful stuff to be found in the town, including one of the 8 spells you can learn. Palace rooms are shuffled around, but they all stay within their own palace. A few rooms are cut out of Great Palace. Thunderbird is absolutely required, so Great Palace will generate in such a way that Thunderbird's room will be blocking Dark Links, so I'll absolutely have to kill this thing, and to actually be able to fight it, you need the Thunder spell. Palace palettes are shuffled around. We're going to do all 6. So I'm also going to want the Reflect spell, but I'll get into that a bit later too. All this stuff is checked. I'm not going to need to get like X amount of magic containers for the towns in the east to learn spells out of those towns. I can just get them as soon as I find the towns and like also have the spell items granted. And the fire spell will be combined with some other random spell in the game, so I'll have to remember to check to see which one that is as soon as I get fire. Enemy stuff is all randomized. Everything here is also checked in terms of items. Pretty much all the items are going to get scrambled around, thrown pretty much anywhere on the map they can possibly be placed. This is unchecked though. Let's say if it was, then you would no longer need to get the trophy medicine or the kid to get spells out of towns 2, 4, and 6 respectively. Thus meaning they'll also be removed from the pool of items that can be generated, and they'd probably be replaced with just random miscellaneous items like, say, point bags, extra lives, or even just red shards that would refill your whole magic bar. Item drops, they're all just randomized and standardized. So let's just say if we all shared this seed and ran it at the same time, we'd all get the same drops in the same order, but for someone who's going to run this seed alone, this has no relevance. And then there's the miscellaneous tab that there's not too much to really explain as to what all these do. I pretty much never touch these. I never really got any incentives for the character sprites. You can play as Link, which is like the default character. You could play as Zelda, the Iron Knuckle, which is like one of the knights with the sword and shield and all the palaces. You can play as that one guy named Error. There's Samus, there's Simon. There's also the skeleton-like enemy in the palace as well, called the Stalfos. I still have no idea exactly who Ruto was supposed to be, and I don't think it's the town. But I'm actually going to be playing as Alucard, in case you were wondering, because what I managed to do was actually copy over some graphics into like a blank, like default Zelda 2 ROM file. I copied over Alucard's graphics from Castlevania 3, scaled them to fit them in Zelda 2, and I've been pretty much running it like pretty much ever since I managed to set that up. In fact, I already have the ROM file generated, so I'm really hoping this explanation didn't take too long, and now I'm actually going to just start the run. I'll quickly show off the Alucard sprite, but first things first, I'd like to tell you when time is supposed to start. So it's safe to say I can just get this off screen. So as soon as you see Alucard start moving left, that's when time should actually start. But don't start it now. If you start it now, just reset it. I didn't even put like the name in, like, even. I just want you to know like when to actually start. And then I'm gonna say time like after Alucard stops moving after the Dark Link fight is over. And that's when it's gonna end. Now gonna go into elimination mode here. And actually undo our elimination. So I got like 2 incentives, for the file name to be Word and for the character name to be Clippy, so... This is about the best I can do on such short notice, because I was kind of confused, so I'm just gonna go with both of them, sort of, at the same time. Time starts now. So yes, Randomizer, this means the entire world map is just scrambled. Wow, that's a surprisingly good start. It happened so fast I couldn't even explain just what happened. So, just like in the original game there is a grass tile, I just walked straight to it and found the boots on it. Which now means that I can walk on pretty much any water tile unless it's out of bounds on the map. So like pretty much 10 seconds in and I already gained this huge advantage. Very likely I'll die here. There's just so many powerful enemies on screen and I have all 1 stats. I mean, I literally just started. Yeah, all this happens so fast, it's kind of hard to explain. To make matters worse, this is all in like a non-sequential order, because it's a randomizer. I think I still might be dead, but I'm gonna have life 2 for my second attempt in this cave. And by the way, this is one of the 5 caves in the west half of the map that will have an item in it. Possibly something you absolutely need. I know this for a fact because there are no other caves in the game that look like this, and this always ends in an item. Except I might just want to consider returning here later with slightly better stats. So, like, not even 2 minutes in and we game over. I would just opt to go there with better stats and maybe even some spells. I pretty much had, like, nothing going for me going in there that early on. So I'll use the boots to just walk on the water and get a nice look at the map without actually running into enemies. On this east side of the map here, I'm really not seeing much. So I'm probably going to go back towards the west and try and get back into more caves, ideally. And I'll also take advantage of my boots, so I can just avoid some enemy encounters. There's that cave I just failed to go through. And I'll probably talk a bit more about Death Mountain later, because I would just prefer to never go in it at all. Yeah, if I enter Death Mountain again, I'll start actually explaining what's going on there. Yes, currently I am not looking for Death Mountain, I am actually looking for those item caves, because those are usually very quick to go through and just knock out. So I'd rather start with those. I know this is a cave that will just lead to like another cave on the map. It doesn't lead to an item, so I'll just leave it alone. This is another passageway. I usually tend to call the caves that don't lead to items and lead to another cave on the map passageways. And also what I did there was just check that palace, just to see which one it actually is. Though I have no means of actually doing any palaces like right now. I just want to identify it, just to keep track of which palaces are where. And I know for a fact that is Palace 2. Because it and Palace 5 share a certain column shape, and I hit the statue which had a red jar in it. And here's another item cave. Sure, there's actually another cave like this that has the first screen that looks exactly like this, but there's an enemy on this first screen which the other cave won't have. Alright, so I got this guy to deal with and I have no spells to help me out, so I'm really gonna need to kind of focus on this guy, because he could probably kill me in a couple hits if I'm not paying attention. Also, really doesn't help I'm trying to fight him in the dark. So I can't tell when he's gonna throw his axe. I can't see him lift up his arm to throw the axe, because it's dark. And I just found a heart container. Really nice to find this early on when I'm still kind of getting whooped from all these enemies because my stats are just low. And I have like no sword techniques or spells going for me either, because I just literally started. Again, there's nothing I can do with that town because that's the wrong side of Saria. Yeah, this guy's easier to deal with in broad daylight because you can actually see him lift up his arms, so it's going to be easier to just time jumping over his axe throws. Much harder to deal with in the dark. This cave is just going to lead to somewhere else on the map, so I'll just leave it for later. I'm just kind of considering my options here. I'm really tempted to maybe just level up, and then just game over after I level up. Except I need to level up off of something. And I don't know if I will at this point. I almost didn't make it. So I'm going to just force a game over by doing up and A. This is something you can actually do in the original game on original hardware, but you need a second controller to do it. But I've set my keybinds on my emulator in such a way that I don't need to actually have like a second keyboard. So you press that button combination and you instantly game over. Really useful when you're trying to just cut down on backtracking, sometimes even just to regain lost health or magic or even lost lives. Yeah, that up A trick has a lot of uses, and you'll be probably seeing it a lot more throughout the rest of the run. Right, so there was a trophy in here, and I'm gonna skip the backtracking through that cave by doing up A again. So now I'm starting to think that maybe I'll just want to go through one of these random caves because I don't see much else to do on this part of the map. Yeah, you certainly really have to apply yourself if you want to get good at combat on this game. Like, combat's a pretty tricky thing. You usually gotta get right up close to an enemy to be able to hit them, and that usually means you get hit yourself. Even if you do know what you're doing, you can still easily get hit yourself. Because you really don't have a long attack reach. And I don't know where this is going to lead to. I don't think I recognize this, so this might be a good sign. Just trying to see whether or not I actually recognize this part of the map. If not, that probably means that I haven't been out here yet. Okay, I'm pretty sure I haven't been up here yet. I'm gonna go quickly check this palace just to see which one it is. Actually, no, we have been here. That's Palace 2 again. I guess I'm gonna try and go through Fairy Cave like this and hope for the best. Yeah, if you want to go through the cave from right to left, you don't need the fairy spell to actually navigate it, because you can just drop down here, but if you're trying to go from left to right, then you do need the spell that I currently don't have, so this is just a one-way passage for now. I might as well level up something. I'll just jump over that axe. Yeah, you can barely see it, but you can see it. Where is this? That's the other side of Jump Cave. And I'm pretty sure that I just found, like, a cave that would just get me unstuck. So now I'm on the other side of the west half of the game. And now I'm gonna find more item caves, such as this one. Again, no cave in the game, aside from this one that looks like this. It's really not fun just dying to random stuff in the dark, but even then, with enough health, these caves are easy enough to go through anyway, because they're just, most of them are just really small. We got the hammer. This is going to be used to just break boulders that might be blocking off items. And there was also that hidden town in the east half of the map that I was talking about earlier, that as soon as I find the forest tile it's on, I just break it down and then I'll see it. So as soon as I go east, I'll have to remember to just check every forest tile that's, like, isolated. I'm just gonna leave that point back there. I might die before I can grab it anyway. Okay, so this is the town of Ruto. It's always got this yellowish-brown ground, so that's how you'll know. And since I turned on hints, I'm gonna quickly talk to the people to see if they have any hints. Okay, so that right there means that Palace 2, which Helmet Head's the boss of, has a heart container in it for its item. So likely I'm not going to bother looking for the item in Palace 2 because it's not something I'm going to need outright to beat the game. I mean, I usually only really need to worry about finding the glove because there are several rooms in palaces, especially in Great Palace, where it's almost guaranteed you'll find a room that you need to break blocks in to progress. And without the glove, you can't do that. I think it's safe to say, like, in more than 99% of possible case scenarios you need the glove for Great Palace. That doesn't narrow it down much, by the way, because the raft can't possibly be on the east half of the map, because if you can't get the raft, then you can't go east, so it wouldn't make no sense to put it out there. I mean, I was gonna bring up the raft, but even then, it's not that hard to find because there's a whole half of the game that the raft simply can't be in. So that really narrows it down as to where it could be. The glove, the flute, and 2 spells. Not really narrowed down in the same way. This is Palace 1. It's got those smiley face-shaped columns. And there's no flying eyeball outside, dropping fire. If you see the eyeball in those smiley face-shaped columns, better yet, if you see only the flaming eyeball, you'll know that's Palace 4. Yeah, they always do have like those same opening screens, even in the randomizer, so that's how you'll know. At this rate, I'm really not going to need to go fish out any more heart containers. You can have up to 8 with these flags I've set. I have 6. 6 is a lot, still. Considering how easy that guy is to pin up against the wall, just kill him for easy experience. I'm gonna see what this is combined with real quick. Doesn't really tell me anything. I'm probably gonna want to recast it when there's actually enemies on screen. I'll try and quickly explain what I was doing over there. That's the town of Mito with the white ground. My first instinct was to just see if I had the jump or the fairy spell combined with fire, and then use that to get the downstab out of that town, because you need either one of those to actually access the house where you get it. But I don't have it. Because you really want to get that as early as possible. That just makes combat, both actually killing enemies and just fleeing from them, so much easier. Yeah, it's got those weird columns, I don't know how to describe these. And this time the statue has no red jar in it, so that's how I know this is Palace 5. And here's the actual half of Saria that I can actually access without needing the fairy spell, or to talk to a guy in the forest known as Bagu, who would otherwise let you know that, like, the Riverman would let you cross the bridge in this town. So in the original game, you had to find this guy in the woods, get a note from him to show the Riverman of this town to cross the bridge over into what would lead to Death Mountain. Except it's not going to lead in front of Death Mountain necessarily in this randomizer. Thunder spell. If I hadn't mentioned it before, I need this spell to fight Thunderbird. Because if you can't cast Thunder, then you can simply never damage Thunderbird. So now I just have to keep on looking, because I don't have the raft. And now I need to figure out where to look. I'm just currently trying to mull over what I'm missing. Like which caves I've been in and which ones I haven't, because the hint sort of narrows it down to one of the item caves I haven't touched yet. Been in that one. So Trophy Cave is like pretty much the only one left. I don't even know if it's on this side of the map or not, so at the very least, I want to just level up real quick. I would hate to let all this experience just go to waste. So I'll try and level up. Then I'm going to consider just going back to start and trying to look for the raft from there. Fire hasn't really seemed to do anything yet. I'm willing to guess that it's paired with the Reflect spell, but I'll have to confirm it later. Which in that case, then that's just one less thing I'll have to look for. So I'm just going to do another game over with Up A just to get back to start here. Because there's just one more cave I want to find. And I'm pretty sure that has to have the raft in it. It's pretty much narrowed down to Trophy Cave. Except I have to find it. Not having much luck doing so either. Yeah, I'm gonna feel really silly if it actually was in the north half of the west continent. Yeah, I could have just misplayed big time for all we know. I'm actually gonna get the shield spell selected. I mean, I have it, might as well just use it. I've already been in there, so that doesn't help me. I could have just misplayed here. It might actually be in the north for all we know. Well, at the very least, I'm gaining experience as I'm searching. I remembered going in there and finding nothing of use. Have I looked here yet? Oh, what's this? This cave? No wonder I couldn't find it! No wonder it took me so long to get around to finding this one. Pretty elaborate spot to place it. So yeah, that's where they put Trophy Cave of all places. And that's where the raft was hidden. I probably could have spent even longer just wandering around in circles trying to find that. Yeah, pretty far out of the way, by the way. Usually not where I expect to see a raft. Or anything for that matter of fact. Not what I was expecting. I mean, if he's not going to kill me with his axe, then the rock behind me will probably just kill me. So now I'm at a point where I would really like to just go east as soon as possible because I don't have much else I can do in the west immediately. I am in no position to attempt any palaces. Death Mountain, I would rather leave that alone for now because I don't know if I'm going to need anything in it or not. Or I could just go for it anyway, just to make sure that if there is anything you actually need in there, that I don't just leave it behind and maybe eventually come back to it much later. I mean, if I don't get to show off a randomized Death Mountain in a marathon run, then when can I? If not now, then when? And yeah, we're going to be going in the dark, so that's just going to make it, like, possibly much worse. So typically, I like to check as many caves as possible before actually having to go through any. Because yeah, there are just so many caves in Death Mountain, and for quite a lot of them, There are actually two pairs of caves that there are several pairs of caves that actually look exactly alike, so that makes it even more confusing to wander through Death Mountain. Not only will you have a lot of caves to travel through, there's several pairs of them that are pretty much exact copies. Aside from whatever enemies are in them, but even then. Combine all that, add the fact that it's still dark because I have no candle, and you're gonna have something really confusing here. Pretty easy to get lost in if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, I got kinda lucky. I have the hammer, I can break that boulder, and get the candle. It's not the worst thing to get early on, but by the time you've made it really far into a seed, then the candle's pretty much dead content. I mean, I suppose it will help with just negotiating the rest of Death Mountain, but even then, I would have probably preferred to find something else. You don't absolutely need it to beat the game, it just gives you an advantage if you do have it. Okay, there's that beetle just phasing into the wall there. Now I'm just trying to decide where I want to go. Yeah, like, let me just say, it's really easy to get mixed up here. Okay, I just wasted some perfectly good magic. I'm gonna just use the boots to walk on the water. I have the boots, let's take advantage of that. And that's the cave I was looking for. So not too much time sunk in, and we already pretty much have all of Death Mountain taken care of. There are two items, one of which, or both of which you may end up needing. More often than not, you don't really need anything. But I'd rather check while I'm here, and might as well show this off in a marathon how I usually like to do it. I typically try to just eliminate as many caves as possible for, like, candidates for being the one that actually has the item in it, just by going in and out of them, until I can no longer do that and I have to just proceed through a random cave. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Okay, that's a stupid death right there. Okay, can you please not do that again? Best thing is, I actually have the stream open, so I was able to actually rewatch that. Really, really good thing I thought to go in here. There's the flute. Okay, the spare key is still here. And yes, drops are randomized to a point where enemies are just going to drop keys for palaces. In case I might need keys for palaces, I'll just grab that one. And now I'm gonna just up A to get the hell out of Death Mountain, and now I gotta find my way back. And I don't remember exactly where to go, either, to get back to the other half of the map, because I'm pretty sure that's where I need to use the raft to start going east. And I don't exactly remember where that is. Okay, this one's it. Good thing I was able to just guess it in like 2 tries. So far on this seed, this is the only way I know to get across like the giant mountain pass. To get from one side to the other. I really should have just cast shield sooner. Well, that's all my fault. I'll just cast it before actually taking on any of the enemies here. Good enough. So now I just want to go east as soon as possible. Yep, it was right there. So I've seen palaces 1, 2, and 5 in the west. And again, I'm just gonna pop in and out of caves, which I would much prefer to do, rather than actually go into any. Okay, I just spotted, like, the abandoned Kasuto. Like, the one that's not inhabited by anyone except for this guy. He'll just teach you a spell. But you gotta beware of that invisible enemy that could just, like, possibly kill you or at least damage you if you're just not careful. Because yes, there are flying eyeballs in the east that if you don't have the cross, you can't even see them. But they can just fly into you and hit you all they want. And they can even appear on those forest tiles as well in the randomizer, by the way. And we got the glove. This is shaping up to be a really nice seed. In fact, I have Thunder, Reflect, the Raft, the Glove, and the Flute. These are all pretty much key items I need for, like, one thing or another just to beat a seed. And I already have them all, like, not even 30 minutes in. So this could be one of my best seeds yet. Not too often I have all 4 of those items this early on. It's just now I need something to let me enter palaces and start doing them. Preferably with low stats, I would like the magic key, but there's also the fairy spell, and if I get that first, I'll definitely explain, like, why fairy spell is just as viable. Okay, I think that might have been worth it. I'm gonna have another spare key in case things don't exactly go my way doing palaces. And if I really have to, I might just, if I get lucky with spare keys, just do palaces off of that. There's the medicine. I would need to go back west to actually bring that to be able to get the spell from it. The town you bring that to is back in the west, and I've gone east, so I might just hold off on that for later. Also going to quickly run onto as many desert and forest tiles as possible, just to try and grab point bags, because most of them in the east will actually give you 500 experience, which, that's really good for leveling up with low stats. Okay, good, I still have 2 lives. Just trying to think what I should cast. Probably should have been obvious, I should have cast Shield. More invisible eyeballs just destroying me. Quickly looking to see which palace this is, and with these columns here, you can't tell whether or not you're in front of Palace 3 or 6 without actually checking out a few rooms. This is Death Valley right here, but I'm not interested in actually doing palaces yet. I need something to actually let me start really jumping into them. I remembered finding... Wait, did I find the kid? Well, at the very least, I'm gonna get a hint as to where the kid is if I didn't find them already. I could show you what a spell hint looks like if I didn't already find them, so there'll at least be that. I don't think I did actually find the kid just yet. Guma sits on the child. So that means the kid's in Palace 5. How deep in 5, we don't know. No, I haven't. He's in 5 somewhere. Which is, like, easily, like, one of the longest palaces in the whole game. Wait till you see Guma, how fat he is. Oh god. Also gonna quickly check some more towns for spells, and also people for hints. And what I just did there was get some water from a fountain. And all she's asking for is water that's from a water fountain a couple meters away. And that led up to the jump spell. So I could maybe consider going back west to go to the town of Mito, which is the one with the white floor. Because now I can get the downstab out of that town, and I have the medicine to bring back there for another spell. But I'll maybe consider trying to level up first before doing so, because then this experience would all just get thrown out if I just did a game over now. I would just prefer to not throw out that experience. As if not mistaken, really shouldn't take too long to level up from, like, this position here. If I find 1 point bag worth enough points, then that's gonna do it. Or if I can kill enough enemies, but these guys are usually very tough to kill, it's usually not worth it. Yeah, most of the big enemies in the east, it's not even worth it trying to kill them. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when enough big enemies just end up on screen at once. The game can't really handle it, it just starts spazzing out, sort of. If this is a point bag, I'm just gonna grab it then and go back. I'll go back west like this. I'll do another up A to force a game over. Now I gotta find that town again. So I just hope I remembered where it is. I don't exactly remember where it is. Like, I really need to take notes of this kind of stuff. I'm not even sure if it's on the south or the north half of the map either. Like, I might just walk across the entire west continent just trying to look for this one town, because I don't remember where it is. I've probably already been through this cave and it didn't lead anywhere of interest. And we're just right back. Actually, no. I think I'm gonna go back through one of these caves because I think maybe the town was on the north half of the map. Like, I'm starting to feel like I need to go north to get to that town. So I'm just gonna go north. Also gonna gain a bit of experience just doubling back through here, which is nice. I just really want to get that downstab. Like, you'll notice like a huge difference in just how much easier combat's gonna get as soon as I find that. I just need to remember where the town actually is. I'm trying to think, there was maybe one out here or something? Windows noise from the stream, I don't know. I doubt it. Oh, this is it! There we go, found it. Spent a lot more time looking for this than I would have otherwise liked to, but we found it. Just went around the circle for a bit. Kinda had to do some running around in circles, but now we're good. Now I'm gonna have to just hope I remember where all the palaces are, because I'm gonna need to come back west just to do palaces, and that's gonna be it. Let's get the best pogo stick ever. I think I do remember where all the palaces are at least, so I should be okay. I'm thinking there might have been one pretty much right next to where I used the raft to go east, and that's probably 5 if I'm not mistaken. I know Palace 2 is on the south half of the map, and Palace 1 is probably somewhere there as well. Or maybe it was just... maybe I walked right past Palace 1 for all we know. Still, no fairy spell and no magic key. So I think the most logical thing to do next would be to go look for the hidden Kasuto under a forest tile. Chances are probably really high I get the fairy spell from there. Now let's just hope I don't have too much trouble actually finding all the palaces once I return here. I remembered this one vaguely being Palace 5. And then the raft to just go east is right here. So finding that again won't be a problem. I'm gonna get caught in an encounter no matter what, so I gotta just take it. Also gonna quickly step in this cave just to reset the timer for, like, when the enemies appear on screen that could just catch me in an encounter. Same thing for this desert tile. Doing that as opposed to getting caught, like, with a screen full of enemies. Kinda like so. Nothing worthwhile up here. At least not the, like... nothing. I've already gotten everything up there. That's Three-Eyed Rock right there. And I have the flute, so... I actually did make the palace appear there earlier, just to go see which one it was. But I'm still not in any position to really go do any just yet. I found it. If that would have been any other forest tile, I would have actually gone in it as soon as I stepped on it, but... that one didn't take me immediately in it, so that's how I know the hidden town is there. Hidden to find the glove that I already have. That lady wants 6 magic containers. I've set it so she can either ask me for 5, 6, or 7, and I got like 6 that I need. Haven't found a single one yet, so that means we have like 4. But I'm mainly here just hoping that I'm gonna get the fairy spell out of this place. Because if not, then what? Fairy. Kinda costs a lot, so I can maybe try and level up magic, hope the cost on that goes down, and then start attempting palaces. I think I'll just heal up real quick first. I'll just take the opportunity to full heal while I'm still in the town. And I don't know if I'm going to come back here later, Not too likely, I mean, I do have everything I need now. It's just now I'd like to get some stats. So I want to do a bit more looking around for point bags, ideally. See what I find. And right now, I'm probably not going to find any. Yeah, I'm only missing a single spell right now, and it's not one I'm really going to need either. Right now, I just want to find point bags. Just to level up as quickly as possible. Try and get to Magic 4 and just cross my fingers, hoping that that'll just drop the cost of the fairy spell to something reasonable. Still costs 52. That'll help with the leveling up a bit. And I'm guessing maybe I should look for the item caves in the east while I'm just wandering around for point bags. And also see what the rest of the map looks like. Yeah, right there, I just found the final palace, but haven't even done a single one yet, so I can't go do that one. I need to go do all the other 6 first. And I haven't really gotten anything to let me attempt any at all, so I have to come back there later. I'm getting good experience, but still. Maybe I will just go through here and see where it puts me. Not anywhere new, it seems. It's gonna lag a lot here. Look at all the enemies on screen. I'm not gonna bother staying there. If I go look in here... I'm gonna go look in here now. Actually, no, I recognize all this. If I can just kill this thing. Not sure if I will be able to. Nope. Also, it didn't help, there was that blue lizard man just right next to me throwing just spiked maces at me. And there goes pretty much almost all my health right there. I'm gonna try and just go for Magic 5 at this point. Though now I don't even know if I'll get it or not. If I can kill one more of these guys, then that'll just give me like 5 magic right there. And let's see what fairy costs now. 51 still. I think I'm just gonna go look for Palace 1 and try and clear that one at the very least. I have 4 spare keys. Actually, no, I think I should just go do palaces and I should be okay. I don't think I need to try too hard to level up, because I just remembered I have like 4 spare keys I picked up over the course of the run. So I could maybe get to do palaces off of that, perhaps. And not have to worry about running out of keys. I remembered where palaces 2 and 5 are, but still not 100% sure where exactly Palace 1 was. And I know for a fact I'm gonna have to obviously find it again. Okay, maybe I do remember where it is. But I'm gonna go and deal with this one first, since we're here now. Yeah, I tried to grind all that experience without even thinking about how many spare keys I had. And yes, palace rooms are all shuffled, so I'm just going to be picking random paths and hoping for the best, that these palaces don't take too long. Pretty much all I can do, really, is just hope I get lucky and go the right way, like, first try. And I still do remember that there's a heart container in here, which I'm not really, like, interested in, so all I'm going to do here, ideally, is just find the boss and fight him. We found the boss already. There's going to be so many other rooms in this palace you just won't see in this run. And then there we go. Really not worth it at this point to go look for another heart container. I have 6 already. That's enough. So we can already cross this palace off our to-do list. Then there's still going to be 5 more. I think I'll go do Palace 5 on the way back east. I'm gonna have to go back east eventually, so I'll probably knock out Palace 5 then. It's just now I need to find Palace 1 again. I'd like to guess it's in the south somewhere, but I'm not even sure. This is actually the one we start in, so I know that's not it. I'm thinking maybe it actually is in the north, and I'm actually on the wrong half of the map looking for it. Though I do want to be sure, though, before actually just going back north. I'm starting to think maybe it is just on the north half of the map, and I'm just going, like, wandering in circles now. I'm just gonna go with my instinct. Yeah, you can kind of just quickly jackhammer enemies to death with the downstab in this, by the way. One of many things that downstab's just great at. Okay, I was right. It's right here, the palace. It's right there. Okay, so this is it. So I was on the wrong track, just trying to stay on the south half of the map. I really wouldn't have known where else to go if it wasn't there. And Palace 5. Like, there's no way I'm gonna miss that one. I know that's a dead end. Any room that looks like that, it's a dead end that just has a key at the end of it. Unless you're having a really terrible seed, you really shouldn't have any reason to actually go in there as soon as you see it. Like, I still have 4 spare keys. And if I really have to cast the fairy spell, then there's that, so... that might not even come up still with all my spare keys. That's 2 of the 3 rooms in Palace 1 that you need a key for, right there. Both just happen to spawn right next to each other. And we just found the boss. I'm tempted to maybe take a quick peek back on the palace to see what item is in here, because I'm really like interested in finding a magic container right about now. Thunder costs more than the magic I have, so I can't cast it right now, and I will need to cast it eventually, so I'd really like to find a magic container. This palace is the smallest one, so I'm opting to just go back in here to just fish the item out. Like, I know I'm not going to need to do this for Palace 5. There's only a couple things that are being blocked off by not doing Palace 5 and getting its item. Things I don't actually need. I don't think it should take too long, perhaps, to go just check everything else that's left over. And we're already there. Yeah, the kid's in Palace 5, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm only missing Spell. So if I went to go get the kid in 5, then I only get the spell, which I know I don't actually need for too much. I have every other magic. And then there's an item in Nukasudo that you need Spell to actually access. So there's only a couple things I'd be gaining out of it, so it wouldn't be worth it to go look for the kid. Like, let's say if a different spell was being blocked off, then it would pretty much be a different story. So we know we don't actually have to really go and look for him to finish. But we definitely have to fight Guma. Now it's just going to be a matter of guessing the right path to Guma. I think I'll just cast this anyway, just to make traveling across this room, like, super easy. Even though it's, like, kind of a waste of magic. Okay, I don't think this is a dead end, and I just got my wasted magic back. This is an annoying room. I'm just going to want to skip past all of it, pretty much. I'm not going to bother fighting any of that. It would be way too time-consuming. Both that and difficult. Not sure how I dodged all those projectiles just there. I think I'll try and grab that key on the way back, maybe. Maybe I should, I only have one spare key left. I'll actually double back to another fork in the road. I'll grab this key on the way back. I mean, if I don't cast that now, I take a death by falling in the lava. Alright, this is starting to get a little annoying. I would have been really surprised if it didn't die to all that. Really surprised indeed. I mean, I had to burn through most of my magic anyway, just to be able to even cast Fairy to prevent myself from dying on that lava bridge earlier. So now I need to go some other way. I'll try and lean towards just going right, because if I'm going right, then I'm gonna have a better chance of just encountering Guma by going right. Yeah, this guy's really not worth it to fight. Look at how many hits he takes. Yeah, good thing that life spell heals up a lot. Fine, I guess we'll go back through here. Yeah, this is often a really long palace. Especially if you get unlucky with just trying to pick the right way. Yeah, because there's a lot of dead ends and just straight up a lot of rooms in general in this palace. So I pretty much never look forward to doing this one as a result. That's a dead-end room, but it has a red jar in it, so I'll just grab it. It's gonna keep me alive for a bit longer, but it's a dead end regardless. Like, if you really feel like you're good enough and don't need the red jar, then you can obviously skip it. As soon as you get the hint, that's the dead-end room, but I'll just grab it regardless. That's the room with the false wall in it. And even then, like, I don't know if it's gonna lead to where I'm looking for or not. I still really don't know what to make of this. Pretty easy to get lost in this place too, because there's just so many rooms. Okay, we found it. I was actually starting to get a little worried for a second there. That we weren't gonna find this, like, anytime soon. I don't think I'll be able to go that much faster, because he's kind of hitting me a lot. Starting to run short on health, so I'm just gonna slow down. As much as I want to try and set up a very fast kill on Guma, I don't think I'll be going for it at this rate unless I just die here. I think I'd rather just finish him off at this point. So I'm gonna just start playing this extremely safely just to guarantee that I get the kill and I don't die trying. Yep, he didn't even exist in the Famicom Disk System version of this game. It was just like another Helmet Head fight in that version. Like, they only added them in the international release. Well, at least we got more variety. Alright, so there's gonna be Three-Eyed Rock I'm gonna go to straight away, pretty much. Then I think I'm going to probably swing by Death Valley, then Maze Island, then the Great Palace, and just finish everything off. Now it's safe to say I can just sort of plan out a route that's gonna take me from where we are now to the very end of the run. So I'm going to play the flute in the middle of Three-Eyed Rock again. I'll also just do an update to force a game over. Since when you game over with the randomizer, I checked the box that lets you restart at the palaces on a game over, so essentially that means I can just restart in front of any palace when I game over, or even just stop onto one just to refill my lost lives, magic, and health bars. If I don't mind losing all the experience I currently have, because when you game over, you lose all your experience. I'm just gonna do this just to make jumping over this invisible floor here easy. And yeah, I don't know how many of you actually knew there was a red jar hidden there. I barely even remember that as well. So I've seen enough rooms to know that this is Palace 6 right here. Another of the longest palaces you'll have to do. That depends on just how much time you spend going in circles, because that's one thing you'll have to worry about here potentially, is just going in circles. That could also mean you might find the boss here much sooner than you would in Palace 5, but you kind of got to pay attention to not just start running around in circles here, because you can loop in this palace. Same is true for Palace 4 and the final one. 1, 2, 3, and 5 you can't possibly go in circles. This one, 4, and the final one you can. I almost had that corner kill perfectly set up, but he just didn't want to cooperate for that last bit of health there. And we just found the boss. So I'm going to opt to take a death here, so I can get a full magic bar back, because there's a really fast way to kill Barba, and I'm going to want to try and show it off. If not now, then when can I? If not now, then when? That was almost enough to actually kill the thing. And 2-cycle Barba! Wow. Wrecked? That could have probably easily been 1 cycle if I had, like, 6 or more attack. Or if I was even faster with the down pressing, but 2 is still amazing, considering I still mess that up very often when I try to go for that, so seeing that is just insane. And during a marathon run of all places. I'm pretty sure, like, world record that you actually fight Barba in would have a 1-cycle kill, but still, that's insanely good for a marathon. For something I'm not actually very consistent with. Right, I'm caught in the cave, so I'm gonna get the fairy spell selected, but I'm ideally not gonna use it here. I'm just gonna try and walk out of the cave as normal. because I'm going to try and go for something known as the fairy feat. I got it. So essentially what you're trying to do here is just slowly inch your way off the screen, and then press left to exit the screen, so the game will think you are going left, and not right. So you're essentially tricking the game into thinking you're actually going the right way when you're actually at the wrong side of the screen. So I was trying to go left on those two screens. I was on the right side of the screen, but all you needed to do was just get the fairy sprite in such a position that it's not on the screen, but I have to still be in that screen, or I just simply go right off the screen and then just, it doesn't let me cross the tile. But if I get myself in just the perfect position, I then just tap left, and then the game will think I'm going off the left side of the screen when I'm actually not. And I set up like both of those pretty much, like first try each. And if you want to go right, you gotta just reverse the directions. Just change right for left and vice versa. So yeah, this is a really interesting run so far. Thanks for having me. And we already found the boss here too, that's great. And if I can set up this corner kill again, and make it look cleaner than last time, I'm definitely not going to need shield. And there we go. Corner kill with the down stab. And I'm going to get my fairy spell reselected, because I'm going to be flying back through Death Valley, obviously trying to fairy feat again. Didn't get it. I'll just try it one more time. If I don't get it, then I might try something different to skip. I'll try and do an encounter skip instead. By taking an enemy encounter on the tile that actually has that little scenario there. Except the lizard man just killed me. I'll try and explain what I actually just did, but I want to get off of this lethal screen first. So you step on this tile, then it asks you to play and cross this screen, but if you actually get an enemy encounter on that exact same tile, the enemy encounter takes priority. So you get that instead of, well, I guess I got another of these. Actually, no, I must have not even set it up right. That should do it, though. Wait, what's going on? How am I still stuck here? This is unusual. Okay, I'm kind of confused here. I'll try this one more time. If this doesn't work, then I don't know. Yeah, I thought for sure this was supposed to work. I moved across left. Maybe I'm going to try and go off the left side of the screen instead, unless these things kill me and don't let me do so. I don't get it. It's not working! This encounter skip trick isn't working, I don't get it! So now I'm going to have to try and pull off something here. This is exactly what I wanted to skip, but now I'm going to have to try and go through with it anyway. Or I can just grab this, now cast Fairy, and just fly past the rest of it, because I got a lucky red jar drop. I really don't know what all that was about. That wasn't supposed to happen. Usually the encounter skipping works. I don't know why it didn't that time. Well, at the very least, we didn't game over, so it could have been worse. It's just a good way to throw away a couple of minutes, just by trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, let me tell you, I have not seen that before. I have not seen the game behave that way specifically. It's just the cross. I was talking about those invisible flying eyeballs earlier in the east. Now I'll be able to see them, but I'm probably not really going to need the cross that badly since we're pretty much just about ready to finish off the seed anyway. Like, I'm still just baffled as to what was going on in the Death Valley over there. I was kind of just taking a bit of time to look for the second item on Maze Island that could be something like a match container I would like. But even then, I don't know if it's going to be worth it or not. Yeah, because Maze Island is also scrambled, but no matter what, it's always going to have 2 items on it. So if you're in the market for pretty much anything, this is a nice place to go check. Doesn't take that long to just go and scope out the entire island. Certainly usually less time consuming and easier to follow than Death Mountain, that's for sure. Like, it's by far less confusing than Death Mountain. Sure, it can still be a little time consuming, but usually nowhere near as time consuming as Death Mountain is on average. Oh, now I get the magic key. I have 1 palace left to do, and only now do I get the magic key, so it's only going to help me for this 1 palace here. So now I essentially don't need to worry about picking up any more keys because whenever I go and unlock a door, my key count no longer ever decrements. So essentially, I never need to actually find any keys again to open any locked doors. It's just, I can unlock them, like, automatically. Yeah, I pretty much can assume I have infinite keys now. Probably won't help much at this point, since I've already done almost all the palaces anyway that actually have these locked doors. So I might be going to Great Palace on just 5 match containers. This'll still be doable. Would've liked at least another one, but even then this is still, like, doable. You know what, I'm actually gonna go and grab whatever's in here. Could be a match container. And it is. I was still hoping that would have just been Karok and not, like, an actual item room. Because as soon as I find Karok and kill him, then I can just go straight for Great Palace. But that's a nice bonus. I will definitely take it, but I would honestly just like to finish this as fast as possible. To believe I actually died right at the edge of the screen there. And I know every room that looks like that is a And again, since I'm actually looking for the boss room, which you always have to go right to find the boss room and never left, I'm going to try and prioritize going right over going left. Unless I need to backtrack. But even then, this doesn't always work in your favor. You might actually have to go left. Like, in It actually is pretty common you're actually intended to go left and not right, but it does make sense to just prioritize going right, especially if you're only looking to kill bosses and palaces. Getting a really obnoxious pair of enemies here. You need to kind of jump and hit the head on one, and you need to crouch to hit the legs of another, so it's just kind of a mess. And there's Karok. Looks like we're almost done. And there we go. It's possible I could just get all this done in under 90 minutes. It's very possible. We're getting really close to the 80-minute mark, and I'm just making preparations to go to Great Palace to finish everything off. So now I just need to leave Maze Island. Okay, I'm pretty sure this was the way out. And that's gonna be my final level up. So no gems left to place, and that'll be my last level up. Because yeah, in case you were wondering, every time you do place a gem after you kill a boss, you automatically level up. From no matter what experience points you have to, like, whatever you need to level up to. So let's say if I could place another gem immediately, I'd go all the way up to 3090 experience. And then I'd level up again. So if you really want to max out your stats, you could just prioritize doing the palaces later. Because if you do the palaces early, then you do miss out on quite a bit of experience, and you might actually finish with fewer levels than you usually do if you do a bunch of palaces earlier than you usually do. I mean, if you can do one palace and not, like, another one that's not that far off from it, then maybe I would suggest just leaving it alone for later, because then you can knock out both in one shot, and you'll probably just gained all the early levels by the time you get back to the other palace. So now we can go to the final palace, Great Palace, and let's just try and find all the bosses as soon as possible. So with how this is generated, I know for a fact I'm going to be finding Thunderbird before I find Dark Link. Or in our case, Dark Alucard. I might be screwed here no matter... Actually, no, I'm just dead. I didn't turn into a fairy quick enough. Now, do I actually want to go through the rest of the palace on 2 lives or not? I'm just gonna go for it. It's not the safest move, but it could end up working anyway. I don't know how I made that work without fairy. I really don't. This is a dead end. All the rooms that look like that in Great Palace are all dead ends. I think some of them might have fairies on the other side of the room that full heal you. Or maybe like something else, but as far as I'm concerned, I really don't need to deal with those rooms. If I'm doing good enough, I don't need to bother with them. Even then, you could actually get hit on the way out just after you got the fairy and lose some of the health you gained back anyway, so... Provided you also get hit a bunch on the way out of that room, it's really not worth it. Yeah, I was talking about how many rooms in the Great Palace have these blocks you need to break. This is one of many. Yeah, usually the best thing these guys can do is just jump right over you, and then that just makes them easier to run from. They have a lot of health. They can deflect a bunch of your attacks just by blocking them with their shield. They can jump all over the place to make themselves really hard to hit. They're agile. They hit you for pretty damn hard. Just, if you can avoid those blue birds, just like simply run past them. Don't even bother fighting them unless you really have to. Because if you really have to fight them, you're probably going to lose. Found a dead-end room with an extra life. I suppose I'll take it, but I'm not too happy about it. Yeah, strangely enough, the randomizer will actually add in these orange ones that actually always die in one hit. Let's say even if you're like one attack, you'll still be able to one-shot them. And landing one hit isn't that hard to do. So as soon as I find Thunderbird, I'll know for a fact I'm on the right track, and once I find Dark Link's room, I'll know for a fact I've won because I'm gonna go for an exploit that makes the fight super easy. It's just we need to find everything is all. An exploit that, by the way, if you play it on the Famicom Disk System, it won't actually work. Like the AI on this final boss, not talking about Thunderbird here, but like the final boss got like much stupider in the international release. And since I don't have Thunder and can't cast it, well, I do have it, it's just I can't cast it without like enough magic to do so. This means I can't actually hurt Thunderbird because its face isn't revealed. So I'm gonna take a death here to have my magic bar refilled. And then I can cast Thunder, and then I can actually start fighting the boss. I have to burn through over 2/3 of my magic bar just to even be able to fight the boss at all. Really frustrating in the original game is this pretty much always leaves you with like very little options for other spells. Like, you pretty much always burn through, like, over half your magic bar, even if you have, like, all 8 magic containers, just to even be able to start this fight at all. And this isn't even the hard part of it yet. Only once you get him down to half health does it actually get challenging. But I've done enough of these that I should be okay. And being able to cast a shield spell is always nice. That just cuts the damage he deals to me in half. Yeah, I've taken like 3 hits and still am in no danger of dying. And that's Thunderbird right there. So, very possible that we just could have had this done in like under an hour and a half. And that's it. And there's the final boss. Okay, we're pretty much going to be done soon. And time. So that was under 90 minutes. Right, so there we go. Yeah, to believe I set my estimate to be like 1 hour and 45 minutes. I got under like 90 minutes. Never mind under 105. It's okay. I mean, we had a really strong start. I only really need the Flute, the Glove, Reflect, and Thunder spells that badly. I got all of them within like the first 30 minutes, so I had very little to worry about in terms of item gathering. Usually nowhere near that lucky when there's that many items to find for flags like these. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Dig Shake's Zelda 2 Randomizer, and that was a pretty solid run of randomized Zelda 2 with the given flags. So yeah, I'm probably going to take my leave now because I have really nothing else to do, so best of luck to everyone else who's like participating in the marathon before I go.
Yo, we're the Zone Runners, and this time we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ain't ready.
I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head cause I have no fear. Probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory, but a ghost tried to approach me and got leery.
Asked him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkins in the alleys. It didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back him up with a fist, metal crackling. I'm hearing someone saying use a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind cause nobody wasn't there. I searched and I searched as I climbed up the wall, and then I started to fly, I went in deeper.
Let it get to me, I'm just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's it, I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. Can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. Gonna hold my head cause I got nothing to fear. Probably seems crazy, brave the theory. A ghost tried to approach me and got leery.
Yo, I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna hang down in Pumpkin Hill because I need my next drink. Tried to find vampire blood and I liked it cause they said just a drop would make me go hyper. And now I'm walking like Frankenstein because I need another taste of that fine red wine. Plain silver chain.